Solly looked up. Poking down at him from between the leaves of a chestnut tree was a nose. Uh-oh. His heart sank. He knew that nose. It was attached to that weird Prudence Pridey from the village, eldest daughter of the local poacher, who was currently in jail. Again. Usually had her unfortunate appendage buried in a book, because the village boys sang a rude song about it. Not that he'd ever joined in, of course. What did she want with him? Right now she was perched on a branch, skinny legs dangling, an open composition book in her lap, a gnawed pencil stuck out of her ugly straw bonnet in a mad sort of way. "What are you doing up there?" asked Solly rather gruffly. He wasn't used to talking to girls. "Sitting," said Prudence. "Oh, right." He would have left it at that and continued on his way, but it wasn't to be. "What's in your bundle?" demanded Prudence. "Dirty washing," said Solly with a sigh. "Old Mother Russ' winter unmentionables." He glanced at his bundle. Old Mother Russ' winter unmentionables only got washed once a year. He would be glad to get them home. He had a feeling they might burst into flames. "Got anything to eat?" Ah, right. That's why she was talking to him. "Well, just a bit of crust I'm saving for my dinner." "Stand back," ordered Prudence, stuffing her book into a handy hole in the trunk. "I'm coming down." There was a flurry of brown and a shower of twigs and leaves. Seconds later, she stood before him, ankle-deep in autumn leaves. Solly thrust his hand into his pocket, fingers closing protectively over his pathetically small hunk of bread. Prudence Pridey was tall and gawky and seemed to be built from knees and elbows. Everything about her was all wrong. Her boots were too big, and her hat was too horrible, even without the pencil sticking out. Her dress was a brown, shapeless sack. As for the nose, well, you only had to look. It was long, it was pointed, it ruled her face. You couldn't stop staring at it. "Shouldn't you be in class?" asked Solly. Prudence, he knew, attended the village charity school, where you got free meals. He had seen her marching through the gates at the head of a long line of small, squabbling sisters. "I'm not going to school any more," said Prudence. "Oh? Why not?" He hoped if he got her talking, it might divert her mind to things other than the crust in his pocket. Besides, to tell the truth, he was curious. He had never been to school. "Because I hate it, and the toilets smell." Prudence flicked her mousy braids and gave a haughty sniff. "Anyway, I know all I need to know. She can't teach me anything." "Who? Miss Starch?" asked Solly, whose route occasionally took him past the playground. The village schoolmistress was stiff and scratchy, just like her name. "Calls herself a teacher. I'd learn more in a school of fish." "Ha ha," chortled Solly politely. "A school of fish. That's a good one. Well, better be getting a "School," spat Prudence, as though he hadn't spoken. "It's rubbish. We count to 10 on our fingers. We recite baby rhymes about eggs on walls. We chant stupid sentences. My dog is in the bog. My rat is in the cat." "Are they? Oh, yes, I see what you mean." She makes us stand on a stool in the corner wearing a dunce's hat, like when I refused to be chalk monitor. And she makes us sew samplers. Mine says, "Prudence is best." She's made me unpick it 7 times. I've been doing it for 3 years. "Well, that's certainly a long 3 years. I heard you. I loathe, despise, and detest sewing." Solly was surprised. He thought sewing was what girls did. "So what do you like doing, then?" he asked, "if you don't like sewing?" "Reading, mostly, when I get a chance." "Oh, right." As far as Solly was concerned, reading was right up there with wingless flight and indoor plumbing. It was something that would never happen to him. "And eating," added Prudence. "Here it comes," thought Solly. "She's homing in." "Well," he said quickly, "I'd best make tracks. Nice talking to you." And he turned to walk away. "I haven't had any breakfast," said Prudence. "Cleanliness spilled it on the cat." Solly came to a halt. "What? Who?" "My baby brother, Cleanliness. Spoiled rotten because he's the only boy. Gets away with murder. I wanted Ma to call him murderous, but she wouldn't. Look, can I have a bite of your bread or can't I? I just want to know, that's all." There. Finally she'd come out with it. Solly sighed. It was so unfair. He hadn't had any breakfast either. He'd been looking forward to his dinner, but he couldn't really say no, could he? It would be too mean. He pulled out his precious crust, unwrapped it, and broke it in two. "Here," he said, handing over half. "Thanks." Prudence plunked down on a fallen log, unveiled her rather horsey teeth, and started eating. After a moment's hesitation, Solly joined her. It would be rude to just walk off. Besides, he always sat down to eat. When you don't get much food, it's important to savour the scraps that come your way. Automatically, he shook out the square of linen cloth his bread had been wrapped in and carefully tucked it into his shirt collar. He was fond of his cloth. He'd had it since he was a baby. He used it to wrap food and protect his shirt from crumbs and stains. He didn't like to be parted from it. He wouldn't let his mother wash it. He always insisted on doing it himself. He even slept with it, although nobody knew that. He noticed Prudence staring and went a bit pink, but she didn't say anything. For a time, they sat chewing in the weak autumn sunshine. The bread was very stale and required hard work in the drawer department. After a bit, just to make conversation, he said, "Do you all have odd names in your family?" "Yep." Prudence ticked them off on her fingers. "There's me, Faith, Hope, Charity, Joy, Delight, Patience, Grace, and Cleanliness." "And are they, you know, joyful and delightful and clean and all that?" "Oh, no. They're vile. They fight like piranha fish." "Do you fight like a banana fish?" asked Solly. He was an only child. He didn't know how big families worked. "I rise above it. And it's piranha. You're Solomon Snow, aren't you?" "Solly," said Solly. "You live in that cottage up on the moor. Your ma takes in washing, right?" "Yes." "Must be nice living up there with no one to bother you. Do you like it?" "It's all right. Bit dull, actually." "Why?" Questions, thought Solly. Why all these questions? She really was nosy in more ways than one. Mind you, it was quite a novelty. Nobody had ever shown much interest in him before. "No one to talk to, except sheep," he told her. "Better than the village, at any rate," said Prudence. "Full of gossips, the village. Always running to tell my ma they've seen me with a book." "What's in the books you read?" asked Solly. "All kinds of stuff. Stories." "What about?" "People going on dangerous adventures and seeking their destiny. It helps if there's a good juicy murder." Solly was surprised at this. He thought girls liked stuff about flowers and fairies. A small bird with a worm in its beak came hopping up, head to one side. Prudence threw it a crumb. It dropped the worm, scooped up the crumb, and took to the sky. "Wish I could do that," she said with a little sigh. "What, hop on one leg and eat worms?" He thought it was funny. Well, funny-ish. But Prudence obviously didn't. "No," she said. "Fly. I wouldn't hang around here, that's for sure. I'd make a beeline for town." Town, eh? Solly had never been to town. He'd heard tales about it, of course. He knew all about the shops, the taverns, the gas lamps, the smoking chimneys.